Yeah.
I get the pleasure of introducing Charle Peck. She is a keynote speaker and director of leadership and training, and she is the S.O.S for school mental health strategies for staff and students in crisis. And I feel like that's just such a perfect segue leaving from Mike's topic to yours. Charle is an international keynote speaker, an author, a former educator turned clinical therapist who transforms chaotic systems from the inside out. Specializing in stress tolerance, she delivers a powerful message of hope to individuals in high pressure roles and equips them with simple, practical strategies to maintain stability and elevate performance. For sustainable impact, Charle designed a toolkit that she helps leaders build capacity within their own teams using the same framework. Her signature keynote, Thriving Under Pressure, captivates professionals across education, mental health, and corporate wellness sectors worldwide. With an extensive experience in trauma and crisis, her stories connect deeply with those navigating today's most demanding systems. And I think we can all relate in schools. More and more. For more intensive learning and application beyond the keynote, she leads workshops, interactive workshops that translate into lasting change in your buildings. Learning more about her, you can find her on social media at Charle Peck or at thethriving-educator.org.
Mm.
Welcome. Yeah,
Thank you for having me. Hi,
I am.
everybody.
It is such a, I mean, literally, we've just had such a great day and night, and I'm so excited because, well, we loved hearing from you last time, but today's energy and the way it's all come together, and Naomi and I don't ever set out to have a theme, but it develops, and I there were so many things that related throughout the night, but into your topic specifically about the mental health and strategies for staff and students in crisis because there's a lot on our plates right now.
Yeah. There is.
It's
There is. And you're hearing it everywhere around the world. I mean, everywhere. I did a McGraw-Hill International talk. There were 6,500 people there, 6,500 throughout the world. I mean, you name any country, they were there. And they were asking me for how do I help with behavior? How do I help with behavior? And I said, well, let's go deeper because the behavior is the symptom, as we all have learned today.
Yes, 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 yes. So, and in that realm, because of the constant pressure that we're all under right now, in leaders and in teachers too, what actually happens in the brain when adults feel so overwhelmed, and how does it affect the way that kids respond to that
Wow.
overwhelm?
Yeah. We already know the answer. I mean, your energy is radiating out to kids. They are picking up on it. I mean, we have tons of evidence that even kids, like little babies, even in utero, are picking up on the mom's stress. We are having plenty of evidence of that, and it is showing up later in life. So we need to understand that it is our nervous system that has to show up regulated in order to make any kind of difference, any kind of change in the system that we have today. It does start with the adults. That is at home, that is on the bus, that is in the community, that is in our schools, positioned wherever you are around kids. And that is why students need us to learn how to do that. There are so many of us who are showing up who have unprocessed trauma. Trauma is my area of specialization. It is overused, that word. That's why we get eye rolls in PD sessions. So leaders, don't just throw that word trauma out there. In fact, there are some states where I speak, I don't use the word trauma at all, but I use stress because it's our stress response system. So the adults have a lot of unresolved issues. There is a generation gap as well about the way we've about mental health when we were young versus how the kids are growing up versus new.
Where's that generation gap? Where are you seeing the most of it?
Yeah, I'm seeing it all over. You know why? Because there are so many people connected to kids. I mean, I work with kids who have like their very old grandparents taking care of them. So that generation gap starts there, right? Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
And they didn't need mental health resources. So why would their child need mental health resources?
Yes.
Right?
And
Is that the
yeah, some of them are really trying. But then you go on and like Gen X, for example, I'm a part of Gen X. We didn't talk about mental health. In fact, SEL didn't start getting into schools until the year I graduated high school. So we've actually been trying to equip kids with these skills and tools and expecting them to function well. But we're sending them right back out to burned out parents, stressed out teachers, and it's not working. It's because it's got to go back to the adults, and we need to actually support adults through this too. It's tough.
wow. That's so huge. Like when you think about it too, because we do so much at school. And right, like okay, so I everybody that stayed on and come back in and out of the conference, which props to everybody for coming and staying and in and out. And but you take what we learn, and then you're like, oh, I'm ready to go back and apply this. But it feels like sometimes it gets undone, and the work you're talking about literally gets undone and can get undone in classrooms and at home.
Yeah.
So how do we support our professionals around us and even our parents?
Yeah. We build capacity. They're lacking skills. I mean, how many teachers do you know that got a lot of skills in classroom management, understanding behavior, understanding child development for the age group that they ended up teaching? I
Mm.
mean, how many parents have this information? They don't. They
Oh,
don't. I don't. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't grow, I have a child development background, but then you throw me in with my own children and I'm a mess. It is the hardest job I ever did. I have three boys. Oh my gosh.
Totally. I have a 14-year-old girl. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. And it stirred up all of that childhood stuff that I did not resolve. All those insecurities bubbled up to the surface. And if you think that got any better, it hasn't. So
uh-uh.
it is personal. So we just are not equipped the way that we could be equipped. So I believe we need to build capacity and have a basis of understanding. We'll start there.
How do you start building capacity in we'll just leave it at the audience that we have control over. How do you build capacity in your teachers?
Right. And let me just give hope there. There is absolute hope. The problem is we try to do one-off PD sessions. That's not working anymore. Can't do that. I don't do one-off PD sessions typically. People, when they hire me, it's like, no, you're in this. We got to do this long term. And I'm going to
Oh.
equip your team who wants to learn these skills, who wants to lead this change from the inside of your system outwards, one person at a time. I'm going to equip
Mm,
them to do that, and they're going to be equipped because they know the culture of their own school much better than I do, and that's how you have scope and scale. But i
that's
do i do
powerful
want to
though.
say, right,
Yeah.
like those skills have to integrate into everyday practice, and they have to be so easy to remember and so easy to do so that we can do it under distress, because that's where we're all living right now.
Mm. Yes. I keep seeing this topic specifically, and I don't know if it was targeted to me on social media.
Algorithms.
I feel like I'm like
Kathleen.
the target of these, and I'm not sure how that happened about like reprogramming. And we talked about this earlier today, like reprogramming the messaging in our brains so that we respond a different way. And I feel like if I mean I know I need it with a 14-year-old girl and also the way I was raised. But so what's the underlying mistake that our schools are making when they're responding to the behavior that keeps escalating, and what can they do differently because they're trying to fix it with their policies and consequences, and those are not working.
They're not. They're not working. I think we need a better understanding of what behavior is trying to tell us. The Language of Behavior is a podcast we do. It's a book that I wrote with Josh and Stamper, and I wrote it together. And it people understand this now. We get it. The language is a behavior. Or
Yeah.
behavior is a language. It's trying to tell us something. So now what? Well, we have to simplify the solution. So we need a major transformation in the way that our environment is set up for kids, because we are trying so hard. Like in my practice as a clinician, it's so often about how do I get kids to adapt to the environment, because they are struggling. They go from one environment to the next and they're struggling, and there's a spillover effect. So if they're at home and it's really rigid there and they don't feel accepted and belonged and understood or heard or valued, then they're coming to school and they're bringing it there, and vice versa. So we need to adapt the environment to the kids, the environment to the kids. That's where kids are going. And our system is outdated. Look what they're doing in other parts of the world that are working. So the part of the environment is the physical environment, which we have some of it down, but Mike just talked about clutter in the classroom and at home.
Mm-hmm.
It absolutely, there are 1 in 5 kids in our public system are neurodivergent, and our school system is not set up for them. And
Mm-mm.
so we also like the bright primary colors. That's actually not based on evidence that that's helpful for kids. We need the natural colors. Like that's why spas have the colors they do because it calms the
Very
nervous system.
interesting. And I don't like maybe we need to get that to all the architects.
I'll tell you, you
Gosh.
need to look up Mimosa Jones Tunney. She's one of our speakers that we actually have at a conference we're doing. And we're kicking off with her because the work she's doing, you all need to look her up. And it's really remarkable.
Spell her name.
Like mimosa, like the
Oh,
wonderful
Mimo, like the
drink.
drink.
Oh,
Okay, which
yes.
I love. Okay.
Yes. Jones Tunney,
Jones.
Tunney. The work they're doing, they've won awards, like they're
Okay.
doing remarkable
I
work.
look her up because
And
I
it's
love
the
that.
schoolhouse. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's all evidence-based practice about the environment needs to be suitable for children. And we need to be in the environment socially that's more appropriate. And that means our nervous system needs to be regulated. So I want everybody who's listening right now to imagine your building. And I want you to imagine people walking through the doors in the morning and just notice everybody as a nervous system.
Oh, wow.
How many are already on high alert?
Yeah.
And then you poke the bear, right? And it's like, oh my gosh, we're on high alert. This is adults too.
Yeah.
But we can shift that. So the free gift that I'm giving people is the rapid resets. So if you're watching, and Naomi and Kathleen, you can do this too. This is a rapid reset. I start my keynotes off like this. So everyone, you get your thumb up and you point your finger to your thumb. And all you do is you do a switch like that. This is a rapid reset. Okay, 1, 2, 3, switch. So those of you listening and you can't see, we're moving our thumb down and our other finger out and our other thumb up and
Doing
the other
terribly
finger
at this.
pointing. Right. Yeah. And then you go really fast. Okay, try it really fast. Go like that, really fast. Yeah. It
Brain
is so
doesn't work.
fun to watch your face right now.
Oh
Now imagine that in a whole sea of people.
no, and everybody's laughing.
What did you notice though when we did that? What did you notice?
I had to really focus to do it. Like
I
it,
did
it brought me
too.
back into my body because like my brain was not there.
Yeah, it engages the prefrontal
Yeah.
cortex, which is we need for learning.
Yep.
So before you do a test, before you're doing a presentation, do
Yes.
this. And you're not going to get this the first time. I've done this a million times. Your brain hasn't learned it. So there's growth mindset. So if you need to teach growth mindset, hey, kid, by the way, you're not going to get this the first time, but let's try it in a month. You're going to do great. Right. And what's one other thing? If you imagine a bunch of people doing this, they're doing it collectively, they're doing it collaboratively. Like Allison said, it's a really good way to start off a collaboration setting. Yeah. And we're laughing. We can laugh.
We're
Because
laughing together.
It clears that and I'm sorry because I'm still learning, but what did you say that when everybody starts walking into the building,
Your nervous system.
imagine the entire nervous system of that room and you're resetting it. That's powerful.
Mm-hmm. So we can use a rapid reset first.
Okay.
Start off with a rapid reset. There's a bunch of them. You can just get that. There's a bunch of them there. And for leaders, there's a section there of how leaders can use it because we need to do this with staff too. We need to like get their guard down right when they walk in the room. And it's got to integrate into everyday practice. So easy to remember to do that we'll actually do it and then we'll model it for kids.
And I love this because I do similar work to you and like working with the adults. I'm like, the reason there's behavior issues in this classroom is because this adult is coming in already dysregulated. Yeah. So anything that the kids do in their classroom, she could have absolute angels in her classroom. She's losing it. And I'm like, we got to work on your dysregulation and create like your window of tolerance and get you in a place of regulate so that you can manage behavior within your classroom.
Yeah. I actually did a TikTok on that because I'm doing videos now there. And what it sounded like is that I was blaming teachers because I said, It's not student behavior that's increasing, it's the teacher tolerance
Mhm.
that's so low. And that's a system problem. That is not a teacher problem. That is a system problem.
Mhm.
But the good news is we can better equip teachers and build capacity within them that, by the way, will help them love their job again, feel energized, want to be there, and it works in their personal lives too.
I think that's a big ticket item right there, that it works in your professional and your personal.
Yeah.
And I think that people think that you can shut those off and they're exclusive of each other, but they're not. They impact, and just because you're an adult doesn't mean that that's not true for you. Like, I think we think that adults can do that and they should be able to isolate and compartmentalize, but that doesn't really work because you bring in that trauma, like you said, from when you're a child or even whatever is going on in your life right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some of my clients right now are high functioning professionals. And I even don't even like that descriptive word. They're high functioning because they're actually not. It spills over somewhere else. It shows up elsewhere. So they come to my session and they're flat. They're not finding joy. So and when I work with people who have depression, they don't have that range of emotions that you need to have to be a human.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of
Oh,
people like that right now.
Unfortunate.
yeah. I mm, that is landing somewhere else. Uh,
That's okay.
I feel like my 83-year-old mother is in that spot. So yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Um, but taking this back to schools and to leaders, so if you are a school leader listening today and you want to improve the mental health climate in your building tomorrow, so what are some of those practical shifts that they could start doing right now that would work and that they could see?
Yeah. This is great. So the ladder of conflict is the very first thing I will share. So I want
Okay.
everyone to envision a ladder. And actually, I'm going to give them a copy of an image of the ladder. I'll put that right in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. And I have a couple other things that they might want to use right in their staff meeting. Okay. But this is the ladder of conflict. And so when we see somebody that's ready, and there's so much more we could do here with the student behavior in the classroom, but
Yeah.
we don't have time for that. So the ladder of conflict is about when somebody is escalating. We all know about that in behavior. So they're climbing a ladder of conflict, and at the bottom of the ladder is discomfort. And then irritation, agitation, then you might get infuriated and then enraged. And there's no place for that in a system of any kind. And so when that person's climbing that ladder, we climb it with them. So we get on that first rung, which is discomfort. And we know this, we have a very hard time with discomfort. We've been talking about this as a society for a long time now. But we try to move away from it. That's the flight, or we fight it, which is the kid yelling, or the adult, or that parent, and they're fighting it, right? That's the fight or flight. And then they climb up the ladder with that person, or we do. The problem is that doesn't work, period. So leaders, I want you to teach this ladder of conflict. I want you to teach them to notice that they're on the discomfort rung, and the real power is to stay there or step back down.
Mm.
And so here's how they can also do it. So imagine the ladder of conflict. Notice your body's responding because your body is like shoving you. Listen to me. It's saying, listen, this is not okay. And so we've got lots of indications there, and we do that in therapeutic work. But here are some things that they can also say. When you do show up to that conflict or the escalation is starting, you need to show up calm. And I try to do this kinesthetically, calm and collected, and keep your voice low and slow, and say what you need to say, but be firm, but fair. And this is good advice for new teachers too, because they don't really know what to do. So that firm, but fair helped me throughout my whole teaching career. So those are some. So calm and collected, keep your voice low and slow. Even when they climb that ladder, don't climb with them. You stay on that bottom ladder or
Low
the
and
bottom
slow.
rung. and then
Yes.
firm but fair. So that's something I could do tomorrow. I do have another thing I could share, but we can also
The
pause.
the
Can
link
you
didn't
share?
work to the
Okay.
ladder. So if you
Okay.
share it again when, yeah.
Yeah. You know why? It's because it's an image. I
Oh,
have
it's
it
fine.
elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
But if they just imagine that ladder of
I
conflict,
know. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I can also share my screen if you want, but
Yeah,
if
you can do
you
that.
want me to do
Share
that,
your
okay.
screen. We have that option.
Awesome. Well, it's right here. I'll just get it done right here. How about
That
that?
way we can all see it. You can screenshot it if you want to. It'd be
Yeah, there you go.
easy.
Screenshot it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you see that bottom of discomfort? Just,
Yeah.
and this is, I even do this in practice. I have them visualize catching themselves where they are in the ladder and
Mhm.
just see yourself stepping back down as a part of the calm, like the calming, soothing kind of part that you need.
Oh my goodness. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. And while we're here, I'll show them the other one if that's okay. Do we have time for that?
Can I just say something too, though? But as a
Yeah.
parent, anyone that's on here as a parent,
Yeah.
witnessing your child go up here and you going with them. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm gonna own this right now. I've done this. I've gone from the uncomfortable to the enraged with her, and that gets you nowhere.
Correct.
So I love the way to see that, like as a visual. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
But we don't know what to do. And so we do nothing, or
Yeah.
we keep doing the same things over and over that weren't working
And
before
they're not
because
working.
they're
Yeah.
not. We're not equipped. We just need to build that
Slow and
capacity.
slow, and I get to practice that.
I still have to practice that. I still have to practice.
I think
Um,
parents, it's harder sometimes, right?
oh, it's because it's so darn personal.
I
It is.
know. Oh, I know. Yeah.
It is. It is. What would you like me to do next? Would you like me to show one
Sorry.
more tool?
Yes, please.
Or do you
I
want me to come
totally
back? It's okay.
interrupted. Yeah.
Okay. So this is another one. There's two more, but I think we'll
No,
probably
you
just have time.
you have time to show them. We're good.
Well, this, you know why? Because this has to do with anxiety. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. So many people are struggling with anxiety. It's a real thing. Anxiety isn't always anxiety disorder, however, but that's a whole separate talk. So
Mhm.
this is called the story spiral. And so I want us all to have a visual of what our brain does. First of all, our brain lies to us. It's scanning the environment to be like, hey, whatever is going on in here, it's making me nervous. So if it's going to confirm whatever you want it to confirm, whatever you tell it is what it's going to look for in the environment. So if you're saying, oh my gosh, that person's scary, you're going to find everything about that person to make you feel scared. But if you say, oh, that person is pretty cheery, you're going to find something to make you confirm that that person's cheery. Okay. So, but this is what we do. We get into story spirals and big fat lies. We tell stories about people and events that just keep us from functioning well. And so if you look at the top right, share this with your staff leaders, have them go through the last time that they had a miscommunication, or really it's about negative thinking that's based on a big fat lie in a story that you told yourself that was just wrong. So it starts with like what I think. So you'd fill in what is the thought
Yeah.
it started with, right? And then what I feel leads to what I do. And by the way, the added part there is the behavior, the action I took, now others are responding to me. And so I'm now thinking and feeling differently about that.
Right.
So yeah, so that's one
Oh
thing.
my gosh, that's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll come back. There's more, but I don't also want to overwhelm. I want them with something tangible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
And
wow,
the
that's so great.
rapid resets always are, I always suggest that too. They're just so easy. And it shuts down your stress response system to laugh. So laugh with your staff and laugh with your students.
There it is. I was like, Naomi put the link back in there for the rapid resets because like that's such a practical tool that everybody needs.
Yeah. I'll put the story spiral in here as well if they would like to have it.
Can you
That's
use the rapid resets with kids? Like, can we teach our kids this too? Yeah.
absolutely. They are designed for all ages.
Okay.
All ages. I had a principal who I was in a session with them recently, and she said she went home and she put on our social media. She said, my 6-year-old had a fit, and I did the finger thumb switch. That's what we call
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
And it shut right
One I
down.
can't do very well.
I know, not yet, not yet, not yet. You will. These are
Yeah,
literally
I will.
wiring of your brain.
I've been watching, and that's what's been showing up on my social media lately is there's some girl with the neurotransmission type things and tips, and she keeps showing up in my feed, and I'm like, I must need it. So I will sit there and I will do it. And someone close to me has cancer and they're putting off decision making. And I think that this is helpful for them too. And so I was telling them about that person. And I said, I think you need some of this reset stuff. I think there's some truth to this because
Yeah.
that spiral story that you were talking about, right? Like, yeah.
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 I mean, how many times do we tell ourselves? And there's whole stories that I share in a keynote about like students, but it changed the whole trajectory of my teaching career because I recognized I was in a story spiral and I was dead wrong about them. And so it changed my whole
Yeah. Yeah.
perspective.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just got to catch yourself there and
You have
unravel the
to,
story.
yeah. You have to catch yourself, and then you have to be able to own up to it and and willing to change, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, I'm happy to share these, you all. So
Oh,
um, I'm happy, whatever correspondence you all do after
yes.
this, I'm happy to.
Yes.
I just pulled them quickly, but I have shareable ones I will get to you.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Anything you just send it over and we can get it out to people.
Yeah, we will pass that along. Oh, this was so
Oh, and you
fantastic.
have like a raffle too, right?
Yeah, you do?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many things. And I thought, what's actually going to be best for this audience? And so I'm going to actually just raffle off a book. I
Okay.
think the skills that I shared here, there are 9 of them. There are 9 essential skills that we equip educators with and parents, by the way, leaders, you too, you too. And so anybody who gives me a key takeaway from this, if you just email, should I put my email in there for them to
Yeah.
email me? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So Charlie at thrivingeducator.com or .org. And all you need to do
I forget my email.
is give me just what is the key takeaway that you will actually use in practice tomorrow. And the first person who does that, I will send a book. It's called Improving School Mental Health, and you'll get all the 9 essential skills in there with 9 rapid resets.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you so
Kathleen.
much, Charlie. Yeah, we're going to be like working on this.
I'll be laying in bed tonight doing this.
Thank you. We're so glad you joined us again, Charlie.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks,
so
guys.
much.